So Crypto Universe, I'm back with another video, and today we got more stablecoin news, but more specifically we got Genius Act news. For the people that haven't been paying attention, in America right now there has been a lot of hoopla around this current bill that is in the process of being signed into law. It's not officially law yet, but it looks like that's the direction it's heading in. It's called the Genius Act. And I wanted to talk about two posts specifically that highlight why this is a big deal, but also why crypto is inevitable and it's not nearly as big a threat or a bad thing as many people in previous years were trying to convince us that it was when they were spreading all of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I'm gonna get into this clip right here from the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, excuse me, I butchered his name, but Scott Bessent, when he's talking about why crypto is actually not a threat. Who would have thought?
There's a new book called King Dollar, a journalist who's followed Treasury for about 40 years.
Yeah.
And he talks about every time there was a narrative that the US was going to lose reserve currency status, why it's never happened. And
because crypto, that seems to be a threat to the dollar, doesn't it?
I think it's the opposite.
Oh, really?
I think stable coins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stable coins could end up being one of the largest buyers of US treasuries, T-bills. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stable coin in Nigeria that's backed by the US dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact. So I think there's a very good chance that crypto is actually one of the things that locks in dollar supremacy.
And is that why it was crucial that Donald Trump get involved in crypto rather than trying to constrain it like Joe Biden was?
I think constrain's too mild a word. I think make it extinct.
Oh.
So
exactly.
This administration's commitment to digital assets, it's innovation, because there's so many other things that happen around digital assets. And also, it's one of those things that it's one of the most important phenomena that's happening in the world, and the US just ignored it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear what he talked about in that clip? In that clip, he clearly said, and this is something that I've been saying for years, many other people have pointed out for years, that it was a bizarre scenario where the United States, at least publicly, they were trying their hardest to essentially ignore this emerging technology that is clearly set up to change dramatically, dynamically change up how we go about sending money, receiving money, how we go about privacy, the possibilities of what we could do with blockchain and with the crypto space is essentially endless. And for several years, the United States was not just ignoring it. He said ignoring it. It was actually worse than ignoring it. They were actively trying to sabotage it, whether it's lawsuits, whether it's putting out FUD meant to scare people into thinking that crypto was just one big scam. Just all of this, to me, just clearly was putting the U.S. behind the 8 ball. But luckily for the U.S., when it comes to stable coins, it's finally getting through their thick heads that, hey, you know what? The most popular stable coins on the planet right now are stable coins allegedly backed by the US dollar. That in itself is not actually a threat. That in itself is something that would most likely secure the US dollar's place in the world and continue the dominance that it's already had for the past several decades at this point. It's obvious. And he pointed this out as well. Like, people in a whole nother country, somebody can be in, I don't know, Algeria or something, Tanzania, London, Frankfurt, Germany. You could be anywhere and never set foot on U.S. soil, never touch a US dollar in your life, and you still, by way of stablecoins, by way of your phone, by way of technology, you could be transacting exclusively in US dollars if you want to, technically. And like he pointed out, these US backed stablecoins will be they will be buying treasuries. And again, this seems so obvious, but again, for so many years, people were so distracted with talking about meme coins, which I'm cool with meme coins. Obviously, they still have a place. As a matter of fact, I think in this bull run, meme coins are going to outperform any utility coin by a landslide. But still, like, people, my point is, people spent so many years being distracted and not actually bothering to think about, in the grand scheme of things, how powerful this could be. And even though I want to make money just like the rest of you, I just think it's interesting to see it all play out, because this feels like we're still in the infancy stages of something that's going to be in a textbook one day, something that's going to be studied by future generations as a game-changing, earth-shattering moment in not just the United States history, but really the world's history. Like, we are entering a new frontier when it comes to payments. But that's just my opinion. I'm kind of rambling, but I just, again, like, it's just, maybe people like me were just too traumatized from 2019 to about roughly 2023, when there was just this onslaught of FUD put out there, where people were acting like, on one hand, you had people saying that certain cryptos were going to take over the world, which I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, because, as many people pointed out, many of these governments, they will bring out their tanks. Just being honest, as much as I would like for us to have a more free world, unfortunately, they're not really going to let that happen. The most realistic scenario, especially if you're somebody who just wants to make money, the most realistic scenario is to see these governments finally get their head out of the sand and recognize the opportunity that's ahead of them to not only make a lot of money, but also secure their currency, whatever their respective currency is in their country, secure that currency's dominance on a global scale. Because the US dollar is not the only the only dollar that it has stable coins backing it. There's stable coins that are backed by euros and other currencies. But it's just so ironic to me that the US was trying so hard to publicly downplay crypto. Meanwhile, most people were naturally flocking to a stable coin that was heavily backed by the US dollar. I just find that so fascinating, man. That, to me, it's just so fascinating. It's like people always say, it seems like nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden everything happens at once. Speaking of which, as we all know, when it comes to the Genius Act, it's already been passed by the Senate, so it's still in the process, but sooner than later, it will most likely be officially it'll be passed into law, signed into law. President Donald Trump put out a statement here saying the Senate just passed an incredible bill that is going to make America the undisputed leader in digital assets. Nobody will do it better. It's pure genius. Y'all see the play on words? Digital assets are the future. And now our nation is going to own it. We're talking about massive investment and big innovation. The House will hopefully move lightning fast and pass a clean Genius Act. Get it to my desk ASAP. No delays, no add-ons. This is American brilliance at its best. And we are going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. It's going to be huge. I'm just playing that last part. But either way, I don't think politicians, whether it's Trump or any of these other people, I don't think they truly care that much. I just think more than anything, they want to do whatever they think will not only make them look good, but also what'll make people be on their side. I think he does recognize, as well as many other people, they're starting to recognize that this is a wave that you cannot stop. And understandably so, they're not trying to get in the way. Let me know, are you excited about the Genius Act? And do you think stable coins will be the catalyst for us going to the moon this bull cycle? And also, do you think any other currency around the world has a chance of outperforming the stable coins, the currencies that are backed, the stable coins that are backed by currencies from other countries?